Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from Chaitanya Bhagavata, Vrndavana Thakur. And this is the Antya-Khanda, 10th chapter, entitled Description of Sri Pundarik Vijayanidhi's Pastimes. And it is the last chapter in the Chaitanya Bhagavata. Om Agnatimirandasya Gnagna Salakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master has opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my most respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya, who bears the mark of Srivatsa. Glory to Lord Chaitanya, who is eternal religion personified, who is the jewel taken from Sachi's womb. Glory to Lord Chaitanya, who is Lord Krishna himself, who enjoys pastimes of Sankirtan. Glory to Lord Chaitanya, who loves the devotees. Glory to Lord Chaitanya, who stands before the wicked as all-devouring time. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya and all his devotees. Anyone who hears these narrations of Lord Chaitanya will attain pure devotional service. Manifesting the form of a sannyasi, the king of Vaikuntha enjoyed pastimes in this way with his devotees. One day, Lord Chaitanya happily sat down, and then Lord Advaita approached him. Advaita offered obeisances and then sat down next to the Lord. Smiling, Lord Chaitanya asked a question of Advaita. Lord Chaitanya cheerfully said, "O Acharya, please tell me, where did you go and what did you do?" Lord Advaita said, "I saw Lord Jagannath, then I came to see you." Lord Chaitanya said, "After seeing Lord Jagannath, what else did you do? Please tell me." And Lord Advaita said, "Before seeing Lord Jagannath, I circumambulated him 5 or 7 times." Hearing the word circumambulated, Lord Chaitanya smiled. Smiling, Lord Chaitanya said, "You are defeated. You're defeated." And Advaita said, "How am I defeated? Show me the reason, and you will have defeated me." Lord Chaitanya said, "Hear how you are defeated. You performed a circumambulation. When you walk behind Lord Jagannath, you cannot see him. When I see Lord Jagannath, my eyes do not go anywhere else. Where is right? Where is left? Where is circumambulation? I only see Lord Jagannath's face and nothing else." Folding his hands, Lord Advaita said, "In this way I am defeated by you. No one in the 3 worlds can eloquently talk like you. I say the truth. There is no one like you. You alone are the Lord. You alone are the Great One. With these words, I am defeated by you." Hearing these words, the circle of Vaishnavas smiled. Chanting Hari Bol, they made a great tumult of auspicious sounds. Speaking very wonderfully in this way, Lord Chaitanya delighted Advaita Acharya. One day, with Lord Chaitanya, Gadadhar discussed his previous mantra initiation, and Gadadhar said, "The Ishta mantra, I say, does not stay very well in my mind. Please tell me that mantra again, then my heart will be happy." Lord Chaitanya said, "Anyone that gives you that mantra again will become an offender. The person who gave you that mantra is the very life of both you and me. It's not right for me to tell you that mantra again." Then Gadadhar said, "Then you cannot act on my Guru's behalf." Lord Chaitanya said, Your guru is Pundarik Vijayanidhi. By the Supreme Lord's arrangement, you will meet him again, and he will give you the mantra again. Then Lord Chaitanya, who knows everything, who's the crest jewel of they who know everything, said, Pundarik Vijayanidhi will soon come to Orissa. In 10 days he'll come here to see you. Pundarik Vijayanidhi always stays in my heart. I know that you will draw him to this place. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from his dear devotee Gadadhar's mouth, Lord Chaitanya would enjoy great happiness. Hearing Gadadhar read Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Chaitanya would manifest many symptoms of ecstatic love. Hundreds of times, Lord Chaitanya attentively heard Gadadhar read the story of Prahlad and the story of Dhruva. Lord Chaitanya had no time for any other activity, and again he heard and chanted the names and glories of Lord Krishna. Saintly Gadadhar would read Srimad Bhagavatam, and Swarup Damodar would sing Kirtan. When Swarup Damodar sang songs glorifying Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya would dance in ecstasy. Tears, trembling, laughter, fainting, roaring, standing up of the bodily hairs were only some of the symptoms of ecstatic love Lord Chaitanya manifested. All these ecstatic symptoms became personified in Lord Chaitanya. Manifesting them all, Lord Chaitanya danced. Hearing Swarup Damodar's loud kirtan, Lord Chaitanya could not stay in external consciousness. Moment after moment he fell to the ground. No other sannyasi associate of the Lord was Swarup Damodar's equal. In the same way he loved Paramananda Puri Goswami, so Lord Chaitanya loved Swarup Damodar. Swarup Damodar's singing was like nectar. Hearing it, Lord Chaitanya would dance. Disguised, he would wander in the city, and no one had the power to recognize who he was. He sang kirtan like Narada, who plays the tamburu. He would make Lord Chaitanya dance. Who was more glorious and fortunate than him? Among the sannyasis, none was dear to Lord Chaitanya like Swarup Damodar. Only Paramananda Puri was like him. Swarup Damodar, Paramananda Puri were the two foremost sannyas associates of Lord Chaitanya. They always stayed with the Lord, and they carried the Lord's sannyas danda. Paramananda Puri was fond of meditation, and Swarup Damodar was fond of kirtan. These two sannyasis were like the two arms on the body of the sannyasi Sri Chaitanya. Accompanied by Swarup Damodar, Lord Chaitanya enjoyed pastimes of Sankirtan day and night. Whether sleeping, eating, or walking, Lord Chaitanya would not leave Swarup Damodar even for a moment. In his previous ashram as a householder, Swarup Damodar's name was Purushottamacharya, and his close friend was Pundarik Vijayanidhi. When Lord Chaitanya walked on the path, Swarup Damodar would sing. Then Lord Chaitanya, dancing in ecstasy, no longer knew where the path was. In Swarup Damodar's company, Lord Chaitanya would fall into ecstasy. No longer was he aware of the external world. Lord Chaitanya no longer knew what was water, what was dry land, what was a forest, what were bushes. He roared in ecstasy. Swarup Damodar would sing kirtan. When Lord Chaitanya would fall into bushes or in the forest, Swarup Damodar would pick him up. Swarup Damodar's good fortune had no limit. No one was Swarup Damodar's equal. One day, as he was wrapped in ecstasy, Lord Chaitanya fell into a well. Seeing this, Lord Advaita and other devotees became bewildered. With head in hand, they all wept. Tasting the nectar of ecstatic love and devotion, Lord Chaitanya was not aware of the external world. Now, like a child, he fell into a well, and there he floated. In a moment, the well became filled with fresh butter. There was not even a scratch anywhere on the Lord's graceful body. How were these wonders manifested? They were manifested by the power of ecstatic devotion. Seeing that thorns had not pricked the Lord's body, the Vaishnavas danced. Within a few moments, Advaitacharya and the other devotees had pulled Lord Chaitanya out of the well. No one knew how Lord Chaitanya had fallen into the well. Can you say? The Lord asked. Tasting the nectar of ecstatic love and devotion, Lord Chaitanya was not aware of the external world, acting as if he did not already know everything. He questioned everyone. Hearing these nectar words from the Lord's graceful mouth, Advaita and the devotees floated in bliss. Tasting the nectar of ecstatic devotion, Lord Chaitanya enjoyed pastimes like these. In his heart, he knew Pundarik Vijaniti would soon come. The moment Pundarik Vijaniti came, Lord Chaitanya at once knew of it in his heart. At once the Lord arranged to see him. Seeing Pundarik Vijaniti, Lord Chaitanya laughed. Father has come, he said. Pundarik Vijaniti became wild with bliss. All auspiciousness filled his heart. Lord Chaitanya Narayan, who dearly loves his devotees, embraced Pundarik Vijaniti to his chest and wept. In the four directions the Vaishnavas wept. The bliss of Vaikuntha was suddenly manifested there. Moment after moment, the love Lord Chaitanya and the devotees felt for Pundarik Vijaniti grew stronger and stronger. Pundarik Vijaniti's old friend Sarup Damodar was there with Lord Chaitanya. The two old friends saw each other. Seeing each other, the two old friends grasped the touch of each other's lotus feet. Let me read that again. Seeing each other, the two old friends grasped the dust of each other's feet. They embraced. Playing, they pushed each other. The two powerful men played and laughed, and Lord Chaitanya was pleased. Manifesting external consciousness, Lord Chaitanya said to Pundarik Vijaniti, Please stay for some days in Jagannath Puri. Hearing this, Pundarik Vijaniti was very pleased. Thinking himself very fortunate, he always stayed with the Lord. Then, with great love, Gadadhar again accepted his Ishta mantra from Pundarik Vijaniti. How can I describe the glories of Pundarik Vijaniti, whose glories were sung by Advaita, Srivas, Murari Gupta, Haridas Thakur, and whose disciple was Gadadhar, a disciple who had the most exalted kind of ecstatic spiritual love. No other Vaishnava was like Pundarik Vijaniti. The devotees could not describe all the devotional activities Pundarik Vijaniti performed with his body, words, and mind. Not even a single sesame seed's worth of false ego was present in his body. What was the great wonder of mercy that Lord Chaitanya gave to him? I have no power to understand it. Having heard some stories from Gadadhar's mouth, I will write a little about how Pundarik Vijaniti was dear to Lord Krishna. Making his home at Yameshwar by the seashore, Pundarik Vijaniti stayed near Lord Chaitanya. Thus, staying in Jagannath Puri, he regularly saw Lord Jagannath. Sarup Damodar loved him dearly. Together the two friends would see Lord Jagannath. Together they joyfully tasted the nectar of narrations about Lord Krishna. Then came the festival called Odana Shashti, when Lord Jagannath receives new garments. On that day, according to their own desires, the devotees offer new starched garments to Lord Jagannath. Lord Chaitanya and the devotees went to see the festival of offering new garments. Mridangas, maharis, conch shells, dundubis, kalas, dakas, dagadas, and kadas made a great musical sound. Numberless different garments of many kinds were offered on that day. Then there was a festival from the 6th day, Shastri, until the end of the month, Magh. Seeing this festival from the offering of garments to the end of night, Lord Chaitanya and his devotees floated in ecstatic love. Lord Chaitanya was both the worshipper and the object of worship, but without his mercy no one could understand this. Manifesting the wooden form of Lord Jagannath, the Lord sat on his throne. Manifesting the form of a sannyasi, the Lord worshipped himself. Many silken garments were offered, garments of white, yellow, blue, and many other colors. Splendid garments, garments sewn with gold and pearls. After the garments were offered, there was an offering of flower ornaments. There were flower bracelets, flower crowns, and flower garlands. With incense, lamps, and all 16 kinds of offerings, now scented with flower fragrances, arati was offered to Lord Jagannath. Many different kinds of food were offered to him. After seeing this festival with his associates, Lord Chaitanya happily returned to his home. At home, he bid good night to his associates. Then the Lord happily retired to his own room. When everyone had left, Pundarik Vijayanidhi stayed there with Swarup Damodar. The two of them spoke from their hearts. Without deception, they told everything. A doubt about Lord Jagannath's accepting new starched garments took place within Pundarik Vijayanidhi. He asked Swarup Damodar, "Why do they give new starched garments to the Lord? Why, ignoring the Shrutis and Smritis, without even washing them first, in this country do they offer starched garments to the Lord?" Swarup Damodar replied, "Listen to this explanation. There's no fault in the custom of this country. Persons who know the Shruti and Smriti may not always observe this festival. Still, if the Supreme Lord did not desire this festival, why did he not forbid the king to observe it?" Then Pundarik Vijayanidhi said, "Good, the Supreme Lord may do whatever he wishes, but how can the Lord's servant imitate him and do whatever they wish? Why would Lord Jagannath's priests, decorators, servants, and message carriers offer him impure, unwashed, starched garments?" Lord Jagannath is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He may do whatever he wishes, but does that mean that everyone else may do whatever they wish? When one touches an unwashed starched garment, one must immediately wash his hands. Why would an intelligent person not follow this rule? Not thinking of this, the king's representatives put unwashed, starched garments on the Supreme King's head. Then Swarup Damodar said, "Listen, O my brother, I think there is nothing wrong with the Odana Shasti festival. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has descended to this world as Lord Jagannath. He does not have to think about rules and prohibitions." Pundarik Vijayanidhi said, "Oh, my brother, please hear my words. Lord Jagannath is indeed the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he jumps over any rule or prohibition, he is not to be blamed. He is indeed the Supreme Personality of Godhead staying in Jagannath Puri. He indeed may neglect all ordinary customs. He is indeed the Supreme Personality of Godhead descended to this world." After this conversation, the two friends walked on the path. They smiled, they laughed and laughed. Holding hands, the two friends laughed at the idea that Lord Jagannath's servants could have been at fault. They knew the power and glory of the Lord's servants. They knew how much Lord Krishna loves his servants. Sometimes Lord Krishna bewilders his servants, and then with a merciful heart the Lord breaks that bewilderment. The Lord had personally bewildered Pundarik Vijayanidhi. Please hear how the Lord mercifully broke that bewilderment. The two friends left the room and happily performed their duties for Lord Krishna. After accepting a meal, they returned to Lord Chaitanya's place. Returning to the Lord's place, they fell asleep. Lord Chaitanya knows everything. Manifesting the form of Lord Jagannath, he entered Pundarik Vijayanidhi's dream. Pundarik Vijayanidhi saw Lord Jagannath enter that dream. Lord Jagannath angrily stared at Pundarik Vijayanidhi. Then he slapped Pundarik Vijayanidhi's face. Both brothers, Jagannath and Balaram, violently slapped Pundarik's cheeks. Pundarik Vijayanidhi was in pain. "Krishna, save me," he called out. "Please forgive my offenses." He begged and fell at the Lord's feet. He asked, "O Lord, what is my offense that you beat me?" The Lord said, "Your offenses have no end. You do not know anything about the exalted nature of me or my servants, even though you stay in this place. Why do you stay in this place? It will ruin your status in the upper classes. You should go to your own home. Then you will protect your upper class status. You thought there was something wrong with my festival. You treat me like the Supreme Lord, but you criticize my servants. You saw a mistake in the offering of starched, unwashed garments." In the dream, Pundarik Vijayanidhi became terrified at heart. Holding the Lord's graceful feet to his head, he wept. He said, Lord, please forgive the sinner's offenses. I'm an offender, I'm an offender. Lord, this I tell to you. Lord, you have punished this mouth that mocked your servants. Lord, in this way you have been very good to me. An auspicious day now dawns for me. With your own graceful hand you slapped my mouth and cheeks. Then Lord Jagannath said, seeing that you're my servant, I have been kind to you. That's why I punished you. In that dream, the two lords cast an affectionate glance at Pundarik Vijayanidhi. Then the two brothers, Lord Jagannath and Lord Balaram, returned to the temple. After seeing this dream, Pundarik Vijayanidhi woke up. Seeing on his cheeks the marks of the Lord's slaps, Pundarik smiled. Seeing on his cheeks the marks of Lord Jagannath's slaps, Pundarik Vijayanidhi said, this is auspicious, this is very auspicious. I committed offense and the Lord punished me. I'm fortunate the Lord punished me only slightly. Look at Pundarik Vijayanidhi's glories. The Supreme Lord's mercy to his servant is very great. To teach him, the Lord never even punished his own son Pradyumna in the same way. Neither did the Lord punish Sita, Rukmini, Satyabhama, his other personal associates, or the hosts of demigods and demigoddesses in that way. It is not often that the Lord will directly appear before someone in a dream and mercifully punish him for an offense. A devotee punished in a dream is very fortunate. When he awakes, his offenses are no more. If he is mercifully punished by the Lord in a dream, a devotee attains all that is good in this world. In this world, no one is fortunate like him. The Lord never speaks in dreams to non-devotees. Please consider this. The Yavanas may commit many acts of blasphemy and violence. They may see many dreams, even though he sees their acts of blasphemy and violence. The Supreme Lord never punishes them in a dream. Moment after moment, the Yavanas commit offenses to the saintly Brahmins. Because of these offenses, the Yavanas suffer in this world and the next. Still, the Supreme Lord will not punish the non-devotee sinners in a dream. If the Supreme Lord appears before someone in a dream, that person is very fortunate. That's my opinion. Everyone should see the great mercy the Lord gave to Pundarik Vijayanidhi by personally punishing him in a dream. At dawn, Pundarik Vijayanidhi awakened. On his cheeks he saw the marks where the Lord's two hands had slapped him. Every day he visited Swarup Damodar, and then the two of them went to see Lord Jagannath. As every day went to visit Swarup Damodar, so on this day Pundarik Vijayanidhi also went. He had something to tell him. Swarup Damodar said, this morning, why did you not rise from sleep and go to see Lord Jagannath? Pundarik Vijayanidhi said, my brother, I've come here because there is something I must say. Then Swarup Damodar saw on Pundarik Vijayanidhi's cheeks the prominent marks of the Lord's slaps. Swarup Damodar said, tell me, how did you get those marks on your cheeks? Smiling, saintly Pundarik Vijayanidhi said, listen, my brother, yesterday I had a doubt. I criticized the offering of starched, unwashed garments to the Lord. For that I was hot on the cheeks. Today you can see the marks. Lord Jagannath and Lord Balaram came to me in a dream. They both slapped me. They would not stop, saying, you criticized the offering of garments to us. They both slapped my cheeks. They struck my cheeks with the rings on their fingers. Cannot say anything more. Embarrassed, I cannot say anything more. Today my cheeks have become glorious. Pundarik Vijayanidhi had no power to say anything more. O my brothers, in your hearts, please know he was very fortunate. I was never fortunate to be punished in this way. I remained fallen in a blind well. Seeing Lord Jagannath's great love for Pundarik Vijayanidhi, saintly Swarup Damodar floated in bliss. A true friend is happy to see his friend become fortunate. The two friends laughed with great joy. Swarup Damodar said, listen, O my brother, I have never seen or heard of any punishment wonderful like this. I have never seen or heard that the Supreme Lord would appear before someone in a dream and personally give punishment. In this way, the two friends floated in bliss, day and night tasting the nectar of narrations about Lord Krishna. They did not know anything of the external world. In this way, Pundarik Vijayanidhi was very glorious. That's why Lord Chaitanya called him Father. Afraid that his feet would touch her, Pundarik Vijayanidhi never bathed in the Ganga. He only saw her and drank her water. Lord Chaitanya would chant Pundarik. Lord Chaitanya would chant Pundarik Vijayanidhi's name. He would say, Father Pundarik, and weep. Anyone who hears these activities of Pundarik Vijayanidhi will attain Lord Krishna's lotus feet. That's inevitable. The two moons, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Nityananda, my life and soul, I, Vrndavana, sing the glories of their feet. Thus ends Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata.